welcome back. So let's get into it because this one is choke. From baby gender reveals with drone cameras to toddlers signing brand deals. Children today aren't just growing up, they're growing online. Some have Instagram pages before they even have teeth or before they can say their name, to be honest. But now here's the real question. Are we giving them a head start in life or putting them on a stage they never asked for? Joining us to discuss this is Ibukun Akinyemi. She's a family and lifestyle content creator. She's a vibrant full-time content creator known for her engaging family and lifestyle storytelling. Welcome to the table, Ibukun. We're so excited to have you, join us for this lovely discussion. Right? So yes, just like you know, we have on the table, we're discussing, you know, child influencers or kid influencers, and we see that we're in a generation where a lot of people are, would I say, woke to want to put their children out there. And, you know, there's always this disparity. Oh, should I put my child's face on social media? Should I not post? We see, for example, Solomon Buchi, you know, he would literally, people will post their children and then they would probably use like a sticker to cover them. And then we see the likes of, you know, Reina, who is really out there, you know, or Lasisi Elenu's daughter, who literally has her own, you know, profile, you know, on social media. So I don't know, how did you get into, you know, creating and just being a, you know, lifestyle creator, not just for you, but I mean also putting your daughter out there on social media?
Oh, okay. I would say thank you first for having me here to, you know, have my own views. First. Okay, I would say content creator started for me with sharing hair tutorials. Yes, so if you check through our page, we started sharing hair tutorials, I think, around 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yes, and that started was as simple as because my daughter, she had very natural long hair, which was, you know, which is still very healthy. Yeah. So I would make her hair every week because she had very curly hair. And, you know, it just started like that because she would sit calmly and she's just been always patient and all that. So I'll braid her hair, and one day just started by when somebody just called my attention and he said, then why not just share with other people who would likely to have like inspiration of what to do for their kids. So that was how it started for us, and you know, it's been bliss ever since.
So I don't know, other ladies, I don't know, are we team put my child on social media or team nah, let them grow up and decide for themselves?
It's an individual decision.
Yeah.
And of course, I will always bring in my family, how my family is, you know, from everybody who supports me as a person to, you know, myself, what my husband might want, because we are two different people.
Of course.
And I respect his views, I respect my mom's views, and they are all, you know, part and parcel of the life of these children.
Yes.
So if a mom says something, I always look at it and either take it or leave it, weigh the pros and cons before I decide, okay, this or that. Because if they tell you something and you decide not to do you have to bear the full, you know, consequences of whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit reserved on excessive exposure.
Okay. But you can show their faces, but you just won't do like too much.
Don't.
You don't show at all?
Not at all.
Okay.
Only maybe on my
She
WhatsApp.
said excessive. She said excessive.
Excessive, yeah. Even on WhatsApp, it's just maybe on their birthdays or they snap with me.
Okay.
I don't talk about my children online.
Okay.
They are pretty, they are fine.
Okay, so I'm a bit more social.
Okay.
I think I've mentioned it a few times.
I can attest to that.
And my husband is also extremely social. Someone has asked me before that, do you take pictures every day? And the truth is, yes, I'm on Snap for the purpose of pictures. So I take pictures every day, and it will take extreme force not to have them show in my pictures. And then, you know, like she said, what makes a powerful storytelling is when there's something to learn, when there's something to share, when there's somebody on the other side of the screen that needs to know that this is not peculiar to you. Whatever you're passing through, we've been through it and we're standing, and you can stand as well. And so while there might be security concerns, while there might be other issues you have to deal with, the truth is it's a community, and the community continues to grow. Many times the things you are going through in your immediate environment might be strange. Like my social nature is strange to them in my family, as in where I was born, you know. And my husband, his family too, they're not, all of them are not as social as he is, you know. But for me, they don't know my pain technically. And so it's easier to identify with people in the general public. Well, it's easier to find somebody who has your pain in the wider space than in your immediate space. And so somehow I tell a lot of stories. I prefer to even talk about pain and awkward situations because I'm looking for somebody who's like me. You know, so it's easier to find that when I have a larger catchment area than in my immediate group. So oversharing, that's why I latched on to saying excessive. Okay, so of course there are normal security rules, addresses, plate numbers. You know, you keep all that off social media. But hey, if you're having fun, let people know that the world won't end. Let's have fun together. See, these are innovative ways to have fun with your family. You know? So I believe in sharing, but I also think you must always remember that there are security concerns and there are some people who are not watching for good. So bear it in mind. So it's guarded, it's regulated, but I go for sharing.
Yeah, just like she said, there are people who are watching not for good, because I mentioned, you know, Reina being on social media, and then there was literally, I think her mother had posted, I don't know if it was her birthday, but she had posted, and then there was this, you know, ex-user who literally took a picture of his album. He had like a full album of Reina, of videos, pictures. And then people are like, hello, stalker much? Because, I mean, Jenny was just posting, you know, for content and just and then this guy was posting everything. People are like, if he's in the same vicinity with this young child, we don't know, you know, what would happen.
I really think there's a thin line. And it's for us now, because it's now becoming like a business or like a real full-time thing. So for people who do this majorly as a business, I think there's a thin line, and you'd have to actually, you know, get on that understanding, know the security challenges that this might bring, and be careful, because as much as you're doing this, somebody else is saying, if she can do it, I'm doing it, and there's no reins on what they do. And then the other part is, I teach catechism. I see parents who use, you know, I mean, before the child is even able to make any decision for himself, they decided to do whiteliciousness, you know, bleach the child's skin, you know, put a wig on the child's hair, lashes, drag the hairlines, and then of course, you know, expose the child without the child's consent. You've already had the child, better the child without his or her consent. Now you are also exposing the child to immediate danger, or, you know, far-fetched danger, or any kind of danger without the child's consent. That child can sue you when he's ready to sue.
Okay, I mean, you've mentioned consent now. I don't know, how was the process for you? You already mentioned how, you know, you started from like doing her hair. So did you like have like a sit-down conversation with us at Alpha or Paris? You know, we want to start doing content. Was it like a, you know, did you have like a conversation to maybe educate her on what is about to happen? Or, you know, did she have consent in this? Like, mommy, I want, or mommy, I don't want, you know, and just, you know, putting her out there. How was that process for you?
Okay, as I mentioned, we started with hair tutorials, right? So that was just basically sitting down. I set on my camera, my tripod, and I was able to just film the processes, put it together. So there was no, you know, too much discussion concerning that. But then we moved to filming our regular like activities. So that's just about me, you know, just filming whatever it is that we are doing. I just film, and it's just been natural. Yes, you these kids, they even love these things more than you do. Yes, it's just the truth, because we are now in the social media digital.
That's true.
Yes, so my own child watches the tablet, she watches TV shows for kids. So all these things, you know, they get to see it, so they probably still know more about it than even you do. So it's just been natural for us. So there's no conversation. There's nothing like, okay, Paris, today we are going to, you know, sit down, you're going to pretend to do what not. No, it's not like that. Because kids do not pretend. You could see through them if they are pretending or not. So
I saw a child at 7. The parent had given her a birthday gift of an iPhone. And I don't know if it's true. Maybe the parents, one of them decided to buy iPhone and they decided to present it and create content with it.
Okay.
But we should know age appropriate, you know, anything.
Gifts,
anything, because age appropriacy is really important, because there's a thin line now. Children now cross over and become adults without even getting to become teenagers. They don't even get to play, which is very important, and it affected Michael Jackson.
So I want to ask a question on this age-appropriate gifts. Now, when my son, he's 9 now, when he was 3, he would bring out his toys, right? And, you know, I joined him to play one day, and I found out that he had set up a tab and he was recording. Hi, this is my mom. 3, right. Hi, this is my mom. This is my sister. This is my sister. And today, we're going to be talking about my toys. This is a train.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
This is
Exactly.
you know, so when he does that, making sure that that tab is one that can record very well. Now, of course, I never published this.
Yeah.
But we were creating, any time he got a new toy, he was going to record himself discussing the feature.
Yes.
Now, he still tells me he wants to be a YouTuber, he doesn't want to go to university. You know, now that he's rationalizing it. And I go like, you need a university education. No, YouTuber A doesn't have a university education. And you know, we're having those arguments now. But as young as 3, he was recording toys and making vlogs on features of toys, which toys to buy, which one he wants next. Are you saying that making sure that the camera is recording with is good is inappropriate? Because an iPhone 7 is good for content, though I would recommend 12.
iPhone 7, it was 12.
Exactly, I would recommend 12. I was about to say, I recommend 12 upwards for content
To be able to
creation.
record good content, right?
You know, so for me, I just feel like your son is a star. You are just the one holding him back.
But you are saying I should.
There's a thin line. There's a
That's
thin
the
line.
thing. I think sometimes maybe parents we see that maybe the children have potential,
Yeah.
right? Maybe this child is very dramatic.
Yes,
If I
at
just
3.
place camera, we can blow.
At
and
3, yes.
coming to the money aspects,
star.
right? Aside from just posting, you get to garner an audience, and then that way you see brands reaching out. At that point when they are reaching out now. Right, remember, you're not the star. It's the child that is the star. When they're paying the money, who is collecting the money?
The parents.
Of course, it's
We're parents.
It's immediate caregiver.
Where is the money going?
To the upkeep
of
of the
child.
child and making sure it's safe.
Security challenges. we buy food. We have to buy skincare to make sure that the child is always
Remember when I was younger and then people gift me money and then my daddy would say give it to my mom. Your mom will keep it for up to today. Today I did not see the money.
But things have changed. Things have changed. Children now have accounts.
Okay,
Yes.
so
So
how are we ensuring that truly that
Now,
when they
we
grow older,
can't
they
ensure.
have
We can't ensure. That's the thing with people who do not have the right to make a choice. They don't have the capacity to contract.
yeah.
So somebody is their guardian. Somebody is going to have to enter into that contract on their behalf. That person is holding the money in trust. Now, if that person does not have accounts, like she said, when the child gets to the age where, from the records, if I have made so every year, prepare accounts, and then we sit on accounts, and then I know if I need to sue you for my balance.
Another important issue that I wanted to share here. Thank God we are all on this table. A 12-year-old was already on Facebook at 12, and the mother, not in Nigeria, this is happening probably in the US or in Europeans, and the mother took away the gadgets and she began to throw a tantrum as though she was about to be killed. So like I said, there's a thin line. So watch that thin line.
So
it's very important.
Until
the police came. So what happens? The police was not asking, how do you take care of this? Is this the first time? No, it's not the first time. How do you take care of this? The father is always around. When the father is around, the father figure, he has a way. But with me, she's going haywire. The police woman now started to educate her on the dangers of what she's doing, that if she endangers her neighbors, she might be taken in for questioning. So she now became scared and started to hug her mom, the very first person that she was. So we really need to educate ourselves.
And given that we're in a social media driven, society now, how do we not properly even put boundaries, right, for our children, especially when they're exposed to, social media, when they're already, setting, cameras or very familiar with the cameras? Because even older people, sometimes celebrities or even, random people, when, they're putting their lives out there on social media, you see them complaining how sometimes, it's just overwhelming for them, right? Cyberbullying, stalking, threats, and all of it, and then putting, I think maybe that's, we mentioned about security. That's one of the concerns of, people who don't put their, children, on social media, like, oh, okay, I don't want them to have a digital footprint. I want them to be able to choose, when they want to, come on social media. But when we put them in the limelight, how do we now properly, one, educate them on how to also be security conscious and also protect them from things like cyberbullying and the rest? I mean, from your experience so far.
Okay, as she mentioned, and as I mentioned the other time, I said everything boils down to parenting. Because what I share on social media is not even 1% of our daily lives. Yes, it is not. So when the camera is off, what do you do? What do you tell your kids? How do you handle things? How do they relate with you? So that is what boils down to everything. So in my own case, as I mentioned, when we film whatever we do, when the camera is off, you know, I still bond with my child. I'm still able to, you know, make her understand that this, even though she's 4 years old, you will be amazed to what they know already and how much they can communicate. So I'm able to guide her, and I'm able to, you know, just make her aware of so many things that could happen, because at our school already, a lot of people know her already. And they're like, oh, Paris, this one down, and they'll be like, okay, this one, I'll be like, okay, so what did you do? So I'm able to, you know, I'm still not going to say everything that I do tell her, but I'm still able to, you know, contain everything together. It's all about parenting, and I'll be able to do your stuff. So
what about the opinion of his father, maybe other
family
members?
He's 100% in support.
That's very important.
He's the one that does it. My first ever content that I made it with his phone, with his stuff, and he's in support. It was like, you can, when I mentioned somebody asked me to do it, he told me to do it. To film the first thing, to do, you know, it's seamless. When you have a child who sits down, you make the hair, and she, you know, you were just like, why don't you just put this thing out? So whatever we do, so the process has always been, you know, been so nice. I really didn't have to explain anything to him. Yes, so to do all that. So because he knows what I'm capable of, even when the camera is off, he knows that he does not have to bother about maybe what comes with this kind of lifestyle. Yes, so he knows I'm able to contain all that.
So for me, I just feel like, you know, you should picture 5 years from now what you might want her to become, you know, so that conversation will be on the table. So you keep on subtly.
I honestly feel 5 years from now, I may not be shooting content anymore.
Really?
Wow. Yes, I may not be shooting content, because it comes to a point whereby right now we are, I think that deals with all content creators. Most people start with being genuine, being authentic. But when it comes to a certain time, now you have community, you have audiences, you have people waiting for you to drop something every day. And that is when all the acting start from. I'm not about that life. I won't be doing that. I really know I won't be doing that. So when it comes to, I really have a cap, okay, maybe this, I want to, you know, do something else. But that is for me anyway.
Yeah, it's fine. So, just wanted to know, because of course there's a child involved.
Yes, so I know, but by that point, people will be tired of what you're doing. It comes naturally. So by that time, people who wants to stay longer now, they start you have to do something to be relevant all the time, and that is when the whole, you know, starts coming from. So I really do not want to get into that.
Oh, that's nice.
What if, you know, would you want to like evolve into, you know, something else? Maybe not like creating content on social media, but still, you know, maybe it could be, I mean, we have child models, we have, you know, child brand ambassadors. And things like that.
I would be doing whatever that does not take my authenticity away.
Yes.
Okay. So that's
interesting. Because I was asking, because I remember a scenario where I was in primary school, and then we had like cultural day in school. So I mean, I was in my Edo regalia, looking all beautiful, and then, you know, I was in my mom's shop, and then I was just walking in, and then someone approached me and said, "Oh, you look so beautiful. Would love to feature you on a signboard." And I was so excited. I said, "Hey." Everybody will see me. I went to tell my mommy, and she just said, She just knew my dad would not allow. And in my mind, I'm like, I mean, isn't this just, you know, a great opportunity? Like we see when they use children for diapers, for powder, for, you know, all these things. I'm passing on the road and I see my face, it's not fine. I'm promoting the culture, everything, right? I mean, my dad still didn't tell me the reason today, but I mean, now that I'm older, and, you know, just from what we've said, is probably, you know,
all of these things.
Precisely.
I remember Teacher of Africa. I remember the other lady that danced then. I can't remember her name. All these people, and then of course this comedian. That's, in fact, when I was in Sweden, you won't believe it. They knew about the lady, that young girl.
Is it Lasisi that I mentioned?
No. She be from way back.
There's a young girl that was now grown.
Girl.
Oh, Emanuela. Yes, everybody knows that girl across the world. Of course, yes. So, but now she doesn't play. She doesn't do
as
much.
She's grown up.
So she can't do content again.
She can, but she can't do that type of content.
Yes. But they asked me specifically about her. Somebody asked me in a bus that, do I know Emanuela? I said,
because you're from Nigeria.
So I think it's, you know, it's way time people begin to, and of course you will have been a very big star.
I mean, now there's the child act, and then you need to connect it to something to be a star from it in old age, because you are no longer a child's act. I mean, what was impressing us in your childhood is not going to impress us if you are doing something.
But it could have given me an early. I mean, we look at Priscilla Ojo. right?
Yeah,
Even
she
before
started
we saw that, I mean, she started acting, you know, way back. We see, you know, other, you know, people who started either modeling, you know, when they were children, or they were maybe acting, even if Namaka passed through, right? And we see that now it's helping them.
Yes,
because they'll say, oh, back there when I started as this, you know, so I maybe that would be maybe benefits to, you know, some people who started early. Right, probably, than, you know, people will now maybe start late and they feel like, oh, you're just new in the game, you know, you just want to say
chamber now.
Precisely,
you know?
He was Smalley.
Early start.
He was Smalley, you know, all those movies, and now we see. I don't know if that's what maybe Lasisi is trying to do with his daughter.
But the challenge with that is that's your interest, not the child's interest. So you need to wait to be sure that that child wants that.
Yes,
because if there's no connection between your dreams and that child's dreams, you'll be walking a path of frustration.
Of course, because there are parents who actually beat their child.
To force them,
yes,
force them
I'm
into
not
a
going to
mold.
mention the name. There's this family that got exposed on YouTube. I think for whatever reason, pictures or videos of, you know, when you're vlogging, you cut some parts out that you want people to see. So there are some, you know, some parts that that didn't make it to the gram that people got hold of, and it was all about how she was, you know, making the child do the stuff and everything. So it gets like that.
Exactly.
It gets like that when you don't know when to stop. So,
Exactly. The child, most likely, if he's not interested,
They
he or
might
she
not-
is
and
not
some
interested,
kids
they would
yes.
outgrow that phase, and then you start
But you have created
suppressing
a
them.
traumatic child. Created trauma.
I mean, we have to wrap up in a bit, but you know, just final words for you know, child creators who possibly may not have had the opportunity to actually choose if they wanted to, you know, be in the situation they are. How would they just, you know, realize that, okay, this is done and this is how I can move forward?
For the child, not for the parent.
For the child.
Okay, for child creators who, it's unfortunate they might still not be able to make decisions for themselves. So, but if you could, I would say you should do what you want to do, what is best for you. If you think being out there is what you want to pursue or your purpose, I think you should. But if if you still can't make the decision by yourself, I would address the parents or the guardians that shouldn't be a lifestyle. It is not a way to go. It is a way that I wouldn't go, so it is not a way to go. Like, you should not force anybody to do what not that they would want to do. So that's what I would say.
And I would also say, okay, so because I had the career my parents wanted was not the career I wanted. Yes, so I followed up to a stage, and the greatest fear was the fear of speaking up, that I didn't want this life. The minute I could overcome it, I wrote my dad, I've mentioned it before, a 4-page letter. But more than that, I spoke to a few friends of his that could talk to him about it. So if it's fear that is not making you go for what you want, then the worst that will happen is that you get a no. But you would never know what you get if you don't ask.
True.
So ask your parents if you can quit, and then look for people that have clout and influence with them and get them to speak to them on your behalf. Also, one thing that always works is, Daddy, or Mommy, this is what I want to do. Let me try it out for so long. If I'm unable to make a success of it, then I'll go your way. But at least let me show you what I'm capable of. If you're sure of yourself and what you want to do, I'm sure you'll be able to hit it off.
Some way, somehow.
All right,
So for me, it's more like child trauma and child exploitation is real in Africa. You know, you see a child, I mean, I bought a okpa from a child of 14, you know, in Oyimbo Market in Lagos. And she told me she has started since 9. I've even bought banana. So let's not even talk about content creation as a thing, but even the exploitation of children and, you know, the general creation of child trauma, which they now have to, you know, overcome over time, which we parents have to take, you know, cognizance of. And of course, there's really no way anybody can protect a child. They will say, is not my child. So the lawyers who are even supposed to, you know, uphold the Child Act are almost, you know, handcuffed, you know, because the first caregiver is not even aware of the level of harm he or she is creating. But of course, if I say child content creators like you who are concerned about the, you know, long-term impact, you can actually begin to add your voice to this and begin to make some kind of you know, just the way VDM is doing for all kinds of people who do not have voice. Speak up about it.
Voiceless.
Speak up about it and see how many children you can help. Because you can't really help them, but since they're already influencers, maybe they'll reach out to you and tell you what they are feeling.
Right, it's amazing. I love that. It's been a very balanced, conversation. I mean, giving this is the life you are living, but you're also thinking long term, and also, I mean, from no, I don't want to share to I love sharing, but also bearing in mind that this is still going to have a lasting effect on the children. So big thank you, of course, for enjoying this big conversation with us. We'll take a quick break where we'll see our life hack to make things easy for you, and when we get back we would have our agree or disagree. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. We're going straight into our agree or disagree segment, where we're going to see a lovely question on the screen, and of course our panel of judges will decide whether they agree or they disagree. So let us have the question on the screen. What do we agree or disagree to? All right, children should not be on social media at all. Do you agree, or there's no time to defend your answer? You just agree or disagree. So Chisom, do you agree or disagree?
Too much of everything is bad.
Agree.
I disagree. At all. Too much of everything is bad.
Okay, they should not be on social media.
I can't draw the line.
All right, Jumoke, do you agree or disagree?
They should not be on social media.
Yes. Disagree.
They should be on social media.
They should be on social media. Okay. All right, our guests, do you agree or disagree?
Okay, I'll say I disagree.
Okay. It's not
beneficial. So
they should not be.
Yeah, you could learn from it.
Okay, well, I would say, I would say agree, because to some extent, they should not be on social media for like maybe a period, the formative years, when they're still a baby, let them, live their childhood before they get to now choose to be on social media. But of course, we all agree to disagree. Yes. I don't know if we have the wise words on the web, but of course, it's been an interesting show, right? So from ring lights to real concerns, influencer kids might look cute on the gram, but behind every post is a question. Are we raising confident children or curating content at their expense? Anyways, I think we've established that there's no one-size-fits-all answer. But what matters is that we stay aware, intentional, and honest as parents, as viewers, and as a society. Thank you to you, our TVC gang, for riding with us on the show. Thank you to our amazing guest.
Thank you.
And just sharing your experience and giving us all the tea as well. Thank you to the lovely ladies shining and sparkling on the table. Of course, we'll catch you same time tomorrow on
The Big Conversation.